وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقال رجل مؤمن من آل فرعون يكتم إيمانه أتقتلون رجلا أن يقول ربي الله آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات Respected sisters, dearest brothers in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the riwayat, our A'imma alayhim as-salam are reported to have said that Taqiyyah dini wa dinu abai. Taqiyyah is my religion and the religion of my forefathers. Without a doubt, Taqiyyah is a part of our creed as the Shia. Furthermore, Taqiyyah is an intellectual principle that's accepted by all Muslims and furthermore by all human beings as well. Taqiyyah, however, has had different misinterpretations and mischaracterizations, and therefore we have people that deny it altogether and say, no, we don't have Taqiyyah in Islam. Taqiyyah is not permissible. Some might say Taqiyyah is not permissible ever. Others will say this person is practicing Taqiyyah, and they'll respond and say that this person is condemnable. What he's doing is reprehensible. He's afraid. Why is he doing such a thing? We don't have Taqiyyah. And so while we know that Taqiyyah is from our creed, it seems that the issue is the interpretation of the word. So tonight, we have a series of questions that we want to answer. Number one, what is the wrong meaning of Taqiyyah? Taqiyyah has been interpreted by many people. What are some of the wrong definitions that we've been given? Number two, what is the correct meaning of Taqiyyah? How is it that Taqiyyah is actually supposed to be defined when we look at the Qur'an and the Ahlulbayt? Number three, do we actually have any examples from the Qur'an of Taqiyyah being practiced? Number four, do we have any examples from the seerah of the Ahlilbayt where they can show us what Taqiyyah is and how it's correctly supposed to be practiced? And number five, if we do end up accepting that Taqiyyah is our policy, then how is it that we are meant to practice it today in the place that we are currently living in? But before that, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Taqiyyah is often translated as being dissimulation. So dissimulation, while it may not be the most accurate definition, what it means is that you make something dissimilar to something else. And therefore, one of the wrong meanings that some people have given Taqiyyah is that the Ahli Tasannun will come and say that you Shia lie, and that Taqiyyah means lying. When you make something dissimilar from something else, you're telling a lie, you're not telling us the truth. And therefore they made a jump. They said that not telling the full truth means lying. And so the first wrong definition that we've been fed about Taqiyyah, when it's being used as a slur, that you Shia practice Taqiyyah, it's being used in this way, that you Shia are liars. You have one belief in your heart and another belief that you show us on your tongues. And so you're lying to us. This is one definition and we don't accept it. A second definition, however, is that Taqiyyah means that you skip out on an obligation, or that performing a prohibition becomes permissible during times of fear. The second wrong meaning that they've given us is that if you're too afraid, if there's some sort of reasonable fear that exists for not performing something that's obligatory, or that something is prohibited but out of fear that if you don't do X, there will be repercussions that you'll have to face, then doing that prohibited thing becomes permissible. Some have said Taqiyyah basically means whenever you feel scared, you don't need to do that which is wajib, and you can do that which is haram. We don't accept this meaning either. Why? Question number two, what is the meaning of Taqiyyah? We said that Taqiyyah isn't lying, and we'll explain in a second that we don't actually lie when we do Taqiyyah, so it's not lying. And the second meaning that we rejected was that you can do anything you want so long as there's some sort of reasonable fear. Why is it that we don't accept these two definitions? What is the meaning of taqiyyah? Taqiyyah comes from waqa yaqi, similar to the word taqwa. In other words, taqiyyah means to protect oneself. Taqiyyah is conservation and protection. Taqiyyah means that you are protecting yourself in a time of danger. There's no mention of telling lies, nor is there any mention of everything in the book becoming permissible for you. Rather, the base concept in taqiyyah is self-protection. Now, someone will come and say, that's exactly what we said. We said that you guys are liars, you're hypocrites. This taqiyyah, where you're saying that there's some sort of danger, that we need to reduce the harm and protect yourself, this is nifaq. This is hypocrisy. You're being a hypocrite. See, nifaq, in one way is similar to taqiyyah, but in many ways is the complete opposite. How? In nifaq, the word nifaq from nafaqah means to sell something. The original meaning is that you're selling something. The munafiq is selling himself in a way that he is actually not, so that people buy him. What does it mean to be a munafiq? That you sell yourself in one way that you're not, so that people will actually buy you. Had you presented yourself in the way that you actually are, there would have been no sellers for you, or no buyers for you. And so, the meaning of nifaq is that you're selling yourself in a way that you're not, so that you can be bought. The word nifaq is used in other places as well. A nafiqah refers to that second hole that a mouse digs as an escape route. See, a mouse has this one hole, the main entrance they go in and out of. But what they do with the second hole is that now they're going to present themselves as being vulnerable in front of the predators, such that at the last second, when the predator doesn't imagine that he'll be evaded, the mouse jumps into the second hole. What's the munafiq doing? The munafiq is showing us the main entrance. But then when it suits him, he jumps into the escape hole and he gets away. He shows you that he's a believer. He's showing you belief, when in reality, when he's away from you guys and he's chilling with the disbelievers, his true colors come up. He jumps through that escape hole and he saves himself. So the munafiq is promoting himself in front of you and then shows his true colors when you're not around. Taqiyyah is the complete opposite. You're not promoting yourself to sell yourself. Taqiyyah is conserving yourself, protecting yourself from danger in times where it's not the time to take on the risks and the threats. So taqiyyah is not nifaq, and taqiyyah is not lying. Taqiyyah does not simply mean that if you're scared you can do anything. What is taqiyyah then? Taqiyyah means that you are reducing harm in places of danger so that you can still achieve your objectives and goals. The mission is the same. The jihad is the same. The goal is the same. However, because there's some threat and danger that exists in front of you, instead of turning around and going home, deciding I'm not going to take on the mission today, I find another path to get to my summit. Some people imagine when they interpret taqiyyah to be the get out of jail free card whenever you're scared, they take it to mean that other way, where you see a robber or a bandit in the middle of your path. You're trying to get to the summit of the mountain and you find that there's a robber in front of you, or there's a robber further down the path. They'll imagine that when I'm scared of the robber, I just gotta turn around, go home, and not go to the summit. Taqiyyah means something completely opposite. It means if the robber is standing here, I'm gonna find another path where there is no robber so I can get to the top. The bandit is blocking this pathway. That doesn't mean that I no longer take on the mission to get to the top. It means I find another way to reduce harm. A good example could be when there are no enemies in front of you, you're kind of crouched a little bit, but then you're moving forward with your weapon ready, pointed forwards, and you're going forward very quickly. But when you realize that you're under enemy fire, you'll crouch all the way down, maybe even hide behind a tree or a boulder or in the trenches, and you'll only make moves when it's safe to do so. What's similar between both of them? That while one of them has no obstacles in front of him, and the other one has a myriad of obstacles in front of him, both of them are still moving forward. In other words, taqiyyah is not inaction. Taqiyyah is action. Taqiyyah is something active, where I'm moving forward and attacking my enemy, and the jihad continues. I'm still the mujahid, but just in a way where I'm getting the blows less. The bullets hit me less. I've reduced harm. Someone who isn't actually moving forward cannot say, we're practicing taqiyyah. Taqiyyah doesn't mean that we're not doing anything. Taqiyyah means we're doing something in a different way. Had we had no obstacles, we would have been very open about everything. Now that we have obstacles, we're doing the same thing. Different methodology. Question number 3. Do we have this in the Qur'an? Do you have examples of taqiyyah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us in the Qur'an? We have plenty. We'll name a few. Number 1, the ayah that we read in the khutbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes a man that he refers to as being رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. He's a believing man. He's a Muslim. He's a believer. مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. What's his problem? That he's from the court of Fir'aun. He's very closely linked to the tyrant of his time. He's very close to this individual that if he finds out he's a believer, he'll get killed for his belief. But we find there comes a time where he's kind of acting like he's great. In other words, he's doing taqiyyah, but he's getting his message across. He's just changed the words. Instead of coming out and saying, I'm a believer in the religion of Musa, he goes into the court and he says, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَن يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ. Do you kill a man for saying that my Lord is Allah, I only worship Him and none else? Is that a reason to kill a man? And so this rajulun mu'min, this believing man, is taking the side of Musa, taking the side of the monotheists, the muwahhideen, without outing himself. So by reducing the harm that he could have taken on from Fir'aun, he still gets his job done and reaches his objectives. Another example, when the ashab of the cave, ashabul kahf, when they wake up and they decide to send a man into the city, they say, look, if the people find out who you are, they're going to kill you. So they tell the man who's going into the city, conceal your identity. To those members of the Ahli Tasannun that say that we Shia are lying, what do you make of a man who's not saying he's something that he's not, but rather is simply concealing his identity so no one knows who he is in order to save his life? The man who is sent from the Ashabul Kahf, in order to save his life, he conceals his identity. And so he's reached his objective by entering into the city, buying the goods that he needs and getting back to his people. However, he's done so in a different way. Salam, brother, who are you? He's not going to say, I'm one of the members of the Ashabul Kahf that was running away from the tyrant most wanted in the city. So he concealed his identity. Number 3, another example, that Yusuf alayhi salam, had he exposed himself as being a monotheist that worships the one invisible Lord, as opposed to the stone idols that the Egyptians worshipped, he would have gotten nowhere in the world of politics. And so he concealed his faith. He didn't act like something he wasn't. Very careful. Someone says, in order to get high up in politics, I gotta go to the rainbow parades, even though my religion says that it's haram. In order to get up in politics, I gotta hug the women as well, even though my religion says that it's haram. In order to get somewhere in politics, I gotta stand with Israel and their right to exist and defend them against the terrorists that attacked them on October the 7th. Otherwise I won't get anywhere in politics. The Ashabul Kahf are not acting like they're buddy-buddy with the tyrants. They're simply not revealing their identity. And so in the Qur'an we see that in order to reach their objectives, some individuals conceal who they actually are. Number 3, a third example, or Yusuf, we mentioned that Yusuf's example was that he reaches the top without exposing that he's a monotheist. Number 3, a third example from the Qur'an is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that we're not supposed to insult the deities and the holy figures of other religions. Why? Because if we insult the holy figures of other religions or sects, they will then come and curse and insult and mock our holy figures. So the Qur'an says, don't insult them. You come and say, but in my heart is boiling. I'm on fire. I hate that guy. I hate that belief. Islam says, disassociate from it then. But where you see that there's a threat, then if you're going to come out and insult this personality, that deity, that God, and they're going to crack down on you, then save yourself the hassle. You don't believe in it. Propagate your message. Speak out against their belief without insulting them. Another form, taqiyya. And so we find in the Qur'an there are multiple examples where identities are concealed, beliefs are concealed, different words are used to ensure that people are protected and the harm is reduced, and that those who believe can actually reach their objectives and goals. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Do we have examples now from the Ahlulbayt where they do any such thing? Before we reach the Ahlulbayt, there's one more story of one of the prophets of Allah who has a little bit of a twist to his story. We said there are examples in the Qur'an. This example is also in the Qur'an. But this story has a little bit of an explanation required. Which story is that? Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, he tells his people that you guys are all going out to this festival where you worship your idols and you're celebrating them, etc. He says, I'm feeling kind of ill today. I'm not really feeling up to it. So you guys go without me. And so everyone leaves the city. They go out into the desert for their festival, right? Ibrahim says, I'm not feeling up to it. What does Ibrahim do when everyone leaves the city? He goes to the place where they keep all the idols, and one by one with an axe, he destroys and breaks every single one. When the people return, they say, who did this? Who is responsible for the destruction of our idols? Who could have disrespected us like this? What does Ibrahim say? Does Ibrahim say, I will take responsibility? Ibrahim says, go ask the big one. Remember we said that the Sunnis say that we lie and we're hypocrites when we do taqiyyah. Is Ibrahim alayhi salam not lying here? He broke the idols, and yet he's saying, go ask the big one. Look, the axe is next to him. Look, the big one. The people look at Ibrahim and they're like, in colloquial terms, they're saying, are you dumb? The big one did it. Are you serious? You think the big one broke all of the other idols? It's made of stone. And Ibrahim alayhi salam says, exactly. In the Sharia, this is not considered a lie. I say the brother is wearing a black shirt, right? And I say, this shirt is white. We don't characterize this as a lie. It's so obviously inaccurate and not in line with reality that we don't come and say, he's lying. We say, get out of here. It's white, it's clearly black. Likewise, the people of Ibrahim alayhi salam say, the big one broke the idols. Come on. You really gotta be a simpleton to believe that one. So we say, this wasn't a lie. When Ibrahim here did taqiyyah, he wasn't lying. He was simply directing their attention to the elephant in the room. Literally, it was the biggest idol. That look, what kind of belief do you have? That if I were to slander this big one and say he did it, he wouldn't be able to defend himself, you see? If I were to slander you, you'd come and say, huh? What's this guy on about? I didn't do that. What can your idols do to defend themselves? And so Ibrahim alayhi salam, while he practiced taqiyyah, this example is in the Qur'an, the question that some people might ask is, well, did Ibrahim lie? To which we say, no, Ibrahim didn't tell a lie. Ibrahim was not lying here. He pointed out something so evident in a way that drew the attention of the people to the evidence such that they would accept it to be true. Let's come to the examples of the Ahlulbayt. The third question that we asked was, where do we see in the seerah of the Ma'asumin that they would do any such thing? Before we mention anything from the seerah of the A'immah, we go back to the father of all of the A'immah, Hadrat Abu Talib alayhi salam. Abu Talib, as you know, was one of the chiefs of Quraysh, big shot in the Quraysh, number one guy in Quraysh. He's got a top position there. even higher than the mayor of New York City. Abu Talib is up there. Abu Talib, however, he presents himself in a way as though he hasn't accepted Islam, when the reality is that from birth Abu Talib is on the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He's a Hanif. Abu Talib, we believe, not for a day in his life ever bowed down in front of an idol. He always believed in the oneness of the one creator, Allah. So when the Ahli Tasannun now come and say that Abu Talib, wal-ayadu billah, was a mushrik, the father of Amir al-Mu'mineen, believed in the idols and worshipped them, we say this is a result of how he duped you with Taqiyyah. Had Abu Talib come out as the leader of the Quraysh and said that I follow the deen of my nephew Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, his influence would have been reduced. And so in order to reach his objective, instead of openly saying that I am a Muslim, he kept his faith concealed. So the first example we give is that Abu Talib alayhi salam didn't say, oh well, looks like the rest of society is worshipping idols, I guess I will too. He continued worshipping Allah in a different way. Another example, very similar to Hazrat Abu Talib, is the example of Ali bin Yaqtin. Ali bin Yaqtin, he has two stories that I want to tell you. The first story is that when Ali bin Yaqtin is sent to work for the Mal'oon Caliph of the Bani Abbas, the Imam alayhi salam tells Ali bin Yaqtin, when you want to perform your salah, do your wudu like them and pray like them. In our ahkam, in our fiqh, we believe folding the arms in salah breaks your prayer. Reciting Ameen after Surah Al-Fatiha breaks your prayer. In the wudu, you cannot wash your feet, you must wipe your feet. The Qur'an says, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, wipe your heads. Where else? And your arjulakum, and your feet, wipe them, not wash them. However, the Imam alayhi salam says, Ya Ali bin Yaqtin, when you're in the court of the Caliph, be careful, do wudu like them and pray like them. The response is this, Yabna Rasulillah, if I do wudu like them and pray like them, is my salah not batil? Technically yes, right? The Imam says, and there's no need for you to redo your prayers. I'm the one that's telling you pray this way. Conceal your faith. It's better for you and it's better for us. Ali bin Yaqtin has another story. This one's a juicy one. Ali bin Yaqtin is in the court of the Caliph. When he is in there, all of a sudden Harun al-Rashid la'natullahi alayhi brings the Imam alayhi salam into the court and he's holding his arm. Ali bin Yaqtin sees the disrespect to his Imam, and impulsively he puts his hand on the hilt of his sword and he's ready to pull it out. The Imam saw this, the Caliph saw this. Ali calmed himself down and he didn't pull out his sword, he didn't do anything. But now the Caliph is about to grow suspicious, because why is it that when I brought this man in, all of a sudden you got really angry, your complexion changed, you're about to grab your sword and do something? What was? So he goes to Ali bin Yaqtin the next day and he says, What happened yesterday? Something was triggered inside of you. Why is it that you were about to grab your sword and it looked like you were getting red in the face? Ali bin Yaqtin is clever. This is Taqiyyah. Where he says, Oh Amir, when I saw you bring that muqassir into the court, that rebel, I got so angry. I had a feeling you were going to command me to kill him. So I was ready to execute your order. I was just getting ready for you. Caliph goes, bravo, bravo. You're ready before I even give you the order. Very good. That fool Harun never knew that Ali bin Yaqtin is one of the staunchest, most ardent lovers of Muhammad, and al-Muhammad living under his nose. Another example. You know who else worked for the Ahlulbayt besides the Shia? The jinn. The jinn worked for the Ahlulbayt. A man was leaving the presence of the Imam alayhi salam when he was in Medina, and he says, Oh Imam, do you need anything from me? No, Bismillah, go ahead, you're dismissed. He says, Imam, I'm leaving, should I take anything for you? He says, no, there's nothing you need to take. He's like, Imam, I'm leaving, I'm going on this trip, I can do you a favor, you don't need anything? He says, no, Bismillah, go ahead, begin your journey, go on. We'll see you, fi amanillah. As the man reaches the outskirts of Medina and he's exiting the city, someone rushes and reaches the man and says, "Here, this is a letter from the Imam." We understand from the story that the person who rushed and made his way to the border of Medina very quickly was a jinn. Why? The seal was still wet. The Imam just sealed the letter. And he reaches the man and he hands him the letter. And he goes, "Yo, I asked the Imam, who are you? I asked the Imam, do I need to take anything?" He said, "No, all of a sudden you're bringing me a letter." The Imam has full knowledge. He has the knowledge of the unseen as well. You're telling me the Imam told me that there's nothing for me to take, and now you're bringing me a letter, and he just sealed it? Or did the Imam forget? The response is this, that, "Oh man, the Imam was trying to save your life. Had you left this house with a letter in your hand, anyone who saw you would have realized not only are you a Shia, you're probably his representative as well. You would have been killed on the spot. Instead, the Imam waited till you left Medina, and then he sent the letter to you." In fact, another example, the A'immah alayhimus salam would hide their letters under oil pots. They wouldn't even reveal the letters that they had. All the things that they were collecting would be under the oil pots of their representatives. There were some silly individuals, and when the Imam alayhi salam would entrust them with something, the Imam entrusted a man with this stick. It was a bit of like a hollow stick. And the Imam said, "Take care of this stick." I was like, "Okay, no problem." He said, "When you get there, give the guy this stick." He said, "All right, no problem, it's just a stick." He got to a place where there was a donkey or a camel or something in front of him, and it just wouldn't move. He's like, "Shoo, giddy up, go." The animal wouldn't move. So he took the stick and he goes, "Here!" And he struck the animal, and the stick broke. From inside the stick, all of the letters of the Imam came pouring out. And he's like, "Oh no, there are things inside this stick. I didn't know." So he collects all the things and he hurries back to the Imam. Before he can say anything to the Imam says, "Didn't I tell you be careful? I sent you as a secret messenger. Even you're not supposed to know what I have inside this stick. Just get this from A to B." Another example of taqiyyah is seen here. That the Imam doesn't come out openly and say, "Here, take my letter." He even hides the letters, let alone the beliefs. Another example, the A'immah alayhimus salam wouldn't even sign off their letters. Why? Had they signed off their letters and it fell into the hands of an enemy of the Ahlulbayt, and they realized that whatever is written here is from the Imam, this would have been incriminating, that the Imam is plotting against us. Look, he has representatives that are collecting khums and zakat. Instead of giving their khums and zakat to the caliph, they're giving it to him. He has individuals who ask him fiqhi questions. They don't come to the court of the caliph and ask our scholars, they're asking him. Whoever the letter was addressed to, this is incriminating for him, that you are in direct correspondence with an individual that you consider to be your Imam, both in terms of him being your Imam of fiqh, that he's more knowledgeable, and you refer to him with your questions, and you even take socio-political orders from him as well. He tells you to jump, you say, "Imam, tell me exactly how high, I'm your man." So the Imam wouldn't even sign his letters. And so coming full circle now, the hadith that says, "Taqiyyah dini wa dinu abai," is evident that the A'immah alayhimus salam did practice taqiyyah. But our last question. How is it that we're meant to practice taqiyyah then? We've defined it. But people in action, they show us different methods. Such that they'll say, "Hey, this guy's not with us, he's not on our team." You say, "Why is he not on our team?" You say, "Because look at the way he's acting, look at the way he's speaking. He doesn't speak about certain subjects, he doesn't use those words." When you say he's doing taqiyyah, you say, "No, this is not correct taqiyyah." Okay, so we have one interpretation here. Someone else acts in another way, and he's claiming that he is doing taqiyyah. And everyone is referring back to the A'immah as their source. So what is the way that we're meant to be practicing taqiyyah, specifically when we're living in the godless society of the West, where we have the enemies of the Ahlulbayt at every corner? Brothers, sisters, the enemies, those that run our societies, the authorities in charge of the ideological West are 180 degrees in opposition to us. Our belief and our ideology, our understanding of Imamah and Khilafah is completely against that which the West peddles and pushes. Had the enemies of the Ahlulbayt known that the Imam is claiming to be the Imam, openly galvanizing and mobilizing supporters, immediately they would have rebelled and cracked down on the Imam alayhi salam. So they had to adopt a different policy and another strategy. Why? Because the Imam is completely contradicting the Caliph. It's not that the Imam is saying that we break our fast at a certain time, you break your fast at a certain time, for example. Or that we leave our hands down, you fold your hands. You pray a Taraweeh prayer and we don't. That's not the issue. One time Harun al-La'in comes to the seventh Imam alayhi salam and he says, Ya Musa ibn Ja'far, I'm willing to give Fadak back. Imam al-Qadim alayhi salam says, leave it alone, man. Forget about it. He's like, no, I'm serious. I know other people have said it before, but I'm actually going to give you the garden of Fadak back. The Imam says, listen, I'm telling you, you don't want it. He says, why? You don't want it back, the inheritance of your mother. He says, if I take Fadak back from you, I'm going to take it back from its borders. He's like, yeah, tell me, what are the borders? It's the garden. The Imam says the south border, the western border, the eastern border, the northern border. Harun realizes the Imam is saying the borders of the entire Islamic empire. Harun goes purple in the face and says, so then what's left for us? Exactly, nothing. Because that which you are ruling over is ours that you usurped. You have no right to the throne. The Imam is the real Caliph. Had the Imam come out and said that our belief is this, that only God can appoint the Caliph and the Caliph is the Ma'soom Imam of the time, immediately this person is worthy of being killed. So the Imam has to protect his belief. The last question that we had is, so how do we protect our beliefs, preserve who we are, while still moving forward, while living over here in the West? We said that Taqiyyah is not inaction, rather it is an action. So in Taqiyyah, we're actually supposed to be doing something. Brothers, sisters, if someone doesn't have real Iman, he cannot conceal it. The first preliminary to even being able to do Taqiyyah is that you need to have genuine faith first. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to say, I'm concealing my faith. Which faith do you have? The one who has faith is able to conceal it. And so someone with weak faith or non-existent faith, he can't come and say, do you know why you don't see me at the mosque? Do you know why I don't pray? Do you know why I'm hanging out with Sally and Jennifer and Elizabeth? It's because I'm doing Taqiyyah. Brother, you yourself don't even have Iman in the ahkam of Allah. When He's prescribed certain obligations and prohibitions, you don't even believe. Now you're coming and saying, you know why I do that which is haram and I don't do that which is wajib? I'm doing Taqiyyah. The first preliminary to doing Taqiyyah is that you actually have Iman to conceal. Now the ones who have Iman, what's the strategy? Taqiyyah has always been a communal and societal strategy. That we work organizationally. We work with a system. There's a systematic approach to concealing our identity, our beliefs, and our course of action, such that the enemy doesn't get onto any of us. You don't have this one guy that's sticking out. If we're not united amongst our own Shia communities over here, and because all of us are under threat, they don't care if we're Shia or Sunni, amongst all of the Muslims in our communities, if we don't have a sense of a sort of systematic relationship that exists in an organization where we have all of the loose ends accounted for, then one guy doing Taqiyyah in some corners are going to have much benefit. So the second aspect of the strategy of Taqiyyah for us in the West is that it's organizational. We have a joint leadership that we answer back to, we get the game plan from the joint leadership, and we're acting in accordance to the orders of that leadership. Sometimes that leadership looks different, meaning you have different individuals posing as leaders, and they actually are, but they answer back to the same person. But out of taqiyyah, they don't tell us that. Sometimes people say that Ayatollah Sistani doesn't believe in wilayatul faqih. You say, oh yeah? Is that so? After the shahada of the previous leader, and after the appointment of the next leader, he writes a letter. It's on his website, it's maybe 3 lines. He congratulates and prays for the new leader in succeeding his father in his new role. New role of what? Did he declare marja'iyah? Marja'iyah is not hereditary. He is not congratulating him on becoming a marja'. That you've succeeded your father in what? In being a marja'? It doesn't work like that. You've succeeded your father in what? You're the next inheritor of the family? A marja' doesn't write a letter for that. You've succeeded him in being the wali. Someone comes and says, well, I don't follow this individual, I follow Sayyid Sistani, and Sayyid Sistani follows the wilayah too. He's not going to say it out loud in public. Read between the lines. Have some insight. We said last night, when we see these different events happening, we see that a marja has written a letter to another notable figure in the Shi'i world. Go and dissect what he's written. We saw the letter. He shared it in all the WhatsApp groups. Here he is saying, you have succeeded your father, may you have the tawfiq to continue his line. In what? In being the wali. Sometimes we do have joint leadership, but they don't make it obvious to us so that each and every individual in this line and chain doesn't get targeted. The others who don't know, the na-mahram, the na-ahl, they think that we're scattered and have different leaders. They don't realize that we have one and everyone's working together. And so for you to come and say, no, we have the same leader, he's with us. He himself didn't do it, so why are you doing it for him? This is like a simpleton that goes and says, Sayyid Sistani, when he said that the Sunnis are not our brothers, rather they're our souls, he was just doing taqiyyah. What on earth are you talking about? If he was doing taqiyyah, which he wasn't, if he was, why would you say that out loud? He didn't say it. Well, secondly, he wasn't doing taqiyyah. On which basis are you saying that? Read between all the lines, find me between the lines where you can find any indication that it was taqiyyah. Who are you to come and put words in the mouth of the marja? Number 3, when we're working in this organization, there needs to be an aspect of secrecy. If there isn't an aspect of secrecy, then there's not taqiyyah. Secrecy in what though? See, sometimes we say that the A'imma alayhim as-salam, the Shia used to conceal their beliefs, and therefore taqiyyah today also means to conceal your beliefs. The problem is at that time, the Bani Umayyah and the Bani al-Abbas didn't understand the depths of the Shi'i creed and theology to even understand what the beliefs of the Shia were. So if the Shia were protecting their beliefs and concealing it, they were concealing something that was actually concealed. Today, you are not able to conceal your beliefs. Even if you're a Sunni, it doesn't matter to them anymore. The moment that you're labeled with the label of Islam, your beliefs are out there. So for you to come and say, we're not going to openly speak about that which we believe in, doesn't make sense. Can you imagine? We're saying the fiqhi opinions of 2 marjas. One is Ayatollah Sistani and then the other one. What's his name? You can't say the name of the second marja, both being the 2 most followed maraja in the world. You can't say his name. Is this taqiyyah? What, they're going to flag the video? There's no need for taqiyyah here. One marja says naked eye, the other marja says you can use an optical aid. We know who he is. You not saying his name is not something tactical. You refrain from saying the name of a man as though they're going to bunch you in with a terrorist entity or a sanctioned organization. This isn't taqiyyah. What we're not going to speak about jihad. The enemies of Allah used to censor us on reciting ayat of the Qur'an that mentioned the Bani Israel and jihad. Now we're doing it to ourselves. We won't recite the ayat of jihad, the ayat regarding the Bani Israel. Soon enough they're going to come into our masajid and say, you're only allowed to have all gender bathrooms and you can't speak out against it. We're going to say, yes sir. Your belief is your belief. If you buckle down on these things that are already apparent and open, you will have nothing left. Why is it that many of our children don't know our philosophy and our understanding with regards to homosexuality? They're teaching them in schools. Don't come to me after the lecture and say, why are you speaking about these things on the minbar? They're just kids. They're learning about it in the 2nd grade. You're not going to come and tell them what our belief is as Muslims. Then who's going to do it? Shh, my son, don't say these things in public. They're going to come to the house and give you the social services. Okay, tell him not to say it in public, but let him know what it is. Let him know what our belief is. The Yahud can come and say that we oppose it. The Christians can come and say we oppose it. The Muslims can't. This is your belief, man. It's in the Qur'an. The Christians know about Sodom and Gomorrah. We have the ayat about Qawm Lut as well. Your beliefs you can say. Now, do you need to come out and say the entire story? No. But the fact that we have a certain belief, that much is concrete. Where is this aspect of secrecy coming in then? Where do we need to be secretive? When it comes to our course of action and our plans. Right now, what I'm saying is being recorded. There's a live stream happening right now. The things that we're saying right now are not hidden facts. They're out in the open. That which I'm saying, others have said before. The A'immah practice Taqiyyah. We're meant to practice Taqiyyah. The hadith says that the mu'min is a mujahid. He's a struggler in the way of Allah. Under the dawla of haqq, under the government of truth, bisayf, with the sword. Meaning he's free to go and launch his missiles. He's under the government of truth. But under the dawla of batil, like where we are, with Taqiyyah, he uses Taqiyyah. The enemies can go check Wasail al-Shia, they can check our hadith books and find the hadith as well. I'm not saying something new. What is something new? Our course of action. What we do, that's where you leave your phones out. That's where you don't want other people to know. It will be absolutely horrendously silly and foolish of you that you go out and say, and tomorrow this is what we're gonna do. Talk about taking it by surprise. No, the course of action has to be secretive. But stop muzzling yourselves and others from speaking about Abi Abdullah alayhi salam's mission on the 10th of Ashura, having a great aspect of it being political. This doesn't need to be censored. This one is obvious. We don't need to come and say that Ashura was a day for Abi Abdullah to remind us of the importance of praying on time, even if the arrows are falling on your head. This is a great lesson. Abi Abdullah didn't go all the way to Karbala to teach us about Salah only. Abi Abdullah alayhi salam didn't go all the way to Karbala to teach us about how much he loves Ali Akbar. God forbid someone says, Abi Abdullah went all the way to Karbala to teach us about the importance of the institution of marriage that he gets his nephew married. Give me a break. Give me a break with that. Abu Abdullah alayhi salam went to Karbala to oppose the tyrant of his time so that the people who are sleeping, the ones who think they're performing Taqiyyah by not saying anything against Yazid, realize the Imam is saying, now all guns blazing. Don't tell the Imam, shh, it's time for Taqiyyah. The Imam is the one that will tell you what to do. Your Wali is the one that tells you what to do. When your Wali says that your duty is the jihad of clarifying truth from falsehood and pulling the truth out of the fog of confusion and propaganda, then Bismillah, go and speak about it. Don't come and say now's the time for silence. We're not pacifists. We're not people that come and say we want peace and not war, and war is always bad all the time. Violence is bad. Our stance is open. History did not begin on the 7th of October. Whoever tries to tell you so, do the jihad of clarification and tell him that he's wrong. Where have you been? Tonight we remember a youth that performed this jihad of clarification himself for his heart. And he ensured that when the propaganda is out there and the fog of confusion is out there, that he keeps himself on the line. The news of the Shahada of Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salam had reached Abi Abdullah, and Abu Abdullah alayhi salam said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. When Ali Akbar alayhi salam heard this, he asked his father, what's the matter, what's happened? When Abu Abdullah alayhi salam explains the situation, Ali Akbar alayhi salam only has one question. He says, look, I'm not concerned about anything else. I just need to know one thing. clarified this for me and for my heart, so I can tell you what the course of action is going to be for myself. أَوَلَسْنَا عَلَى الْحَقِّ. Are we not on the path of truth? Of course we are, my son. Of course. Ali Akbar alayhi salam says that if we're on the path of truth, then it matters not if we go towards death or if death comes towards us. Ali Akbar alayhi salam is saying, so long as the lines of demarcation are clear, the lines of where our army lines up and where the enemy's army lines up are clear, and that we are on the side of truth and we're fighting against the side of falsehood, that jihad continues no matter what shape and form, that we're fighting the enemies of Allah at all times, sometimes with sayf, sometimes with taqiyyah. All I need to know is that I'm on the right side and we're moving forward. Ali Akbar is a supreme personality. On the day of Ashura, Ali Akbar alayhi salam is not like any other companion or family member that gave their lives. How do we know this? Imam al-Sadiq and Imam al-Hadi alayhim as-salam have separate ziyarat for Ali Akbar. Meaning, when you already have said, As-salamu ala al-Husayn, wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn, you've already sent your salam on Ali Akbar according to some of our ulama. Then the Imam comes and says, but recite a separate ziyarah for Ali Akbar on its own. I know you've already taken his name, take his name separately. Come and refer to him as a shaheed. Come and refer to my uncle as being madloom. Come and refer to my Ali Akbar, the one who is the apple of the heart of my father, as being the son of a madloom as well. Ali Akbar is special. Ali Akbar is someone that Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam says, I bear witness you are a hujjah of Allah. Why? On the Ashra-e-Muharram we can see that the behavior that Abi Abdullah expresses and displays towards this son is very different. Every companion that came to give their life on that day, Abu Abdullah begged them, entreated them, please, it's too early. There's no need for you to go. Why are you in such a rush to go to the Maidan of Karbala? But when it came to Ali Akbar, immediately Abu Abdullah alayhi salam says, go, 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 go. Some may say that Abu Abdullah is saying, I need to lead by example. Before my nephews go, my son should go first. I think maybe Abu Abdullah was saying, go quicker. If I see you stayed back too long, my heart will remember Medina. Abu Abdullah alayhi salam says, Allahumma ashhad, faqad baraza ilayhim ghulamun. I'm sending someone to the battlefield, Ya Allah. Ashbahu an-nas khalqan wa khulqan wa mantiqan bi rasulik. I'm sending someone to the battlefield who resembled my grandfather Rasulullah the most. Whenever we would miss him, Ya Allah, you know, when we wanted to do the ziyarah of our madloom grandfather Rasulullah, we look at Ali Akbar. Sallallahu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. On the day of Ashura, the first shaheed of the Bani Hashim has come to seek permission. But Ya Ali, the moment Zainab says farewell to you, hurry off to the Maidan. If you stay back too long, each one of the women will hold you and not let go. When they smell you, they smell the scent of Medina. When they look at you, they remember the Rasul of Medina. Ali Akbar, go to the battlefield. But when Ali Akbar enters into the Maidan, from behind his son, his father is saying, Mahlan, Mahlan. Ali Akbar, hold on. He says, what is the matter? Did you not give me permission? He says, Ali, you don't have a son in you the way I have in you. Ali, if only you knew what I was sending to the Maidan. Ali Akbar enters the battlefield. This is the son of Haydar Karrar, fighting in the battle like his grandfather. But a moment comes when he returns to the tents. What is it, Ya Ali? Why have you come back? He says, Ya Abati, al-atash qad qatalani. أمي وثقل الحديد قد اجهدني, and the weight of the armor is bearing me down, oh my father. Is there any way that you can bring me a sip of water? When Abu Abdullah extended his tongue, Ali looked at the tongue of his father. My father is more thirsty than me. Abu Abdullah says, Ali, you keep fighting. Soon your grandfather will quench you at Kothar. Not long had passed, Ya Abu Abdullah, what a sentence you had uttered. From the Maidan of Karbala, Ali is calling out to you. He's saying, Assalamu alayka ya abata. This is my grandfather, Rasulullah. He has come to quench my thirst. But oh, my father is saying something else. He wants me to tell you, Husain, come quicker. Your mother Zahra is waiting for you. Ali Akbar has fallen from his horse. His father comes rushing to the Maidan. But tell me this, how is it that Zainab reached Ali before Husain? The riwayah says, فَخَرَجَتْ Zainab. Zainab exited her tent. She came running towards Akbar. Every time Abu Abdullah wanted to run towards Ali, he would fall on his face. Every time he gets up, he falls again. Up until he reaches his son, he is lamenting, Waladi, Ali. With every shaheed, Abu Abdullah is patient, but his tone is changing with Akbar. When Ali Akbar fell and he looked at this body, he says, Ali, قتل الله قوما قتلوك. Whoever killed you, oh my son, may Allah kill him as well. Ali, Ali, Ali. Send Zainab back to the tents. I have something to say to Ali. No one should hear what I want to say to Ali. I am a man of hope. I have come here at the commands of my Lord. But Ali, listen to this. على الدنيا بعدك العفا. Living after you is useless, Ya Ali. What is this world without you, my Akbar? Why? If these people can kill the man that resembled Rasulullah, what is the point of living amongst these beasts? One line in iltimas dua. Every shaheed that Abu Abdullah brought back, either he brought the body back or Abbas brought the body back. But with Akbar, Abi Abdullah says something different. He says, oh youth of the Bani Hashim, all of you come. Why? If I pick up this body, another piece will fall to the ground. فقتلوا بسيوفهم إربان إربان. His body is all over the sand. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم, by the right of the blood of Ali Akbar, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we beseech you on this night of Ali Akbar, Ya Allah, make all of our youth brave and courageous soldiers of the Imam of their time. Allow them to know when to use the sword and when to use the sword of Taqiyyah. Ya Allah, whoever is unmarried from amongst our community members, marry them to the lovers of Muhammad and al Muhammad. Ya Allah, from their offspring grant them the progeny of the Shia of Muhammad and al Muhammad. Don't allow us to leave this world unless we're the followers of Muhammad and al Muhammad. Ya Allah, protect our leader, protect our Maraj, all of those who said intimas dua by the right of Ali Akbar. Grant them their cures and grant them their hajat. Ya Allah, through our hands destroy all of the oppressors, assist all of the oppressed. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان. مات الحسين يا حسين.